Hello, guys. I've been thinking about this for a while. Before I moved from Oakland, California, God bestowed upon me several dreams. That was almost 20 years ago, if not 20 years ago. And the dreams he told me to remember. And I remember the details of the dreams, each and every last one. I never sat down and counted how many dreams it was. I just remember the dreams. And the dreams were about the change that is going to come, the horror that's coming. He showed me. I'm just going to tell you what the dreams are. At first I was like, why do I need to tell these dreams? It seems like everybody has information that God has shown them. And I believe that some people have been given the warning, the dreams, to remember, to watch for the signs that God is going to show us. So, here goes. Before I moved, I'll start with the dream of the stairwell. In one of the dreams, I was in this big building, and I had been in this building a few times before in this stairwell of this big, tall building. And you could see to the left of me, it was like windows where you could see out. And then sometimes there were no windows in this building, in the stairwell. And I always was in the stairwell of this building. So, the first dream, and I can't say if it was the first dream I had, but I remember that these were the first sets of dreams that I had in this stairwell. So, as I was coming down the stairwell, it was a bright sunny day. So this time the building had windows. And I remember looking over to my left and seeing big, beautiful trees in the park. And under the trees were families, very nice looking families, having a nice time, just enjoying the park. And then I remember, before I say the horrifying part, all the families were white. They were white. They were well dressed. They were having a nice time. They were. I don't want to say that, but they were enjoying themselves as a family, different families under different trees. All of a sudden, these cars pull up. Like the Men in Black. The cars were black. The men had on suits. And they had semi-automatic guns. It was like maybe 3 or 4 cars that pulled up back to back. And they got out of the cars and went over to the families. Each family, they got in front of the families, like facing the families. And it's getting hot in here. And started shooting, killing them. And I was blown away, like, what was that? And God told me to remember that. I'm like, okay. I had no idea what it meant. What was that? I'm going to move on to the next dream. The next dream I had was me in that same building, coming down the stairs, and there were other people all around me, and it was fire and smoke. It wasn't fire right there in the stairwell, but it was hot, and it was everything in me was, God was telling me, get out of the building, get out, go, you can't save anybody. And people were dying all around me. It was just people everywhere, just all around me. I just remember people all around me. And I remember God telling me to get out of the building. And I was running down the stairwell with all these people all around me, people dying all around me. And I was making my way out. As soon as I got to the out part of the building, I remember it was daytime. And I started running straight. And right in front of me was like maybe a handful of people, like I would say less than 10 people. And there was the ocean behind the people. And all the people were staring at where I was coming from. They weren't looking at me, but they were looking at where I was coming from. They were just standing there stuck, just looking. And I was still running, and God was like, don't look back. And I didn't look back, and I was running. It was like I had to get to where those people were. And it was like I felt this tremendous amount of heat. And then I was running, and God said, don't look back. And I did not look back until I got exactly to where they were. And I remember this, like one little boat. It was a little boat, like maybe like a personal fishing boat. And it was like two people in that boat, and they were looking from the water, but they were close to the shore. And when I got to where everybody was, finally, I was like, okay, I'm safe. Then I could turn around. And when I turned around, everything was on fire. Everything. It was nothing but fire. Moving to the next dream. This dream is kind of fuzzy, but it's not, because I remember what God was showing me in the dream. So in the dream, it's almost as if I'm in the ocean, but I'm above the water. Like, I can't even say if it was a boat, but these two army men were meeting at this water. And in the dream, it was showing me our army. It was one of our army men and another army that wasn't a part of the United States meeting together. And they were plotting against the American people. So it was somebody from our military and somebody from another military. And I wasn't supposed to be there, so I had to dunk under the water. Mind you, it's like I'm in the ocean. So these two men meet together to plot and speak about how they're going to deceive the nation. And I had to hide. So I dunked myself under the water, in the open ocean water. And when I dunked myself under the open ocean water so that I wouldn't be found out, that I could hear what they were plotting, under the water, everything was dead in pieces. Right in front of me, everything was just floating. All the animals of the ocean, of the sea, were in pieces. I'll move on to the next dream. The other dream that I had, it was as if it was total chaos had happened, and then everybody, we were just roaming, and it was like we were walking. It was me and a couple of people. I can't remember who they were, but it was like me and other people that I could possibly have known, could have been family members. I don't remember exactly. I just remember it was like a bright day. And we were walking along as if we were walking along the path of where a train, a light rail like type train, would be going, like a BART, like the BART train. And we were walking along, like in the lower part, like it was in a ditch. And all of a sudden, I heard a roar behind me. And instantly, I was like telling everybody to get up from the ditch, like we need to get higher up. Excuse me, because something was coming. So I told everybody we got to get up from the ditch. And we got up from the ditch, and when I turned behind to look to see what was coming, it was all the animals mangled up to just like a sea of mangled animals roaring down where the train would come through. And then they just like a roar, like a just a river of mangled animals and blood. It was like as if all the land animals were, I don't know what happened to them, but it was saying that, well, I won't say what it was saying. I'll just say that's what happened in the dream. The next dream. Ooh, mosquito. The other dream I had, it was as if I was in West Oakland. I was near the Cypress bridge that had collapsed. And it was as if I came out the house at nighttime. Like it was dark. But when I came outside on the porch and looked to my left, coming up the street, it was like coming up the street 10th and, when not up Center Street, but it was going across, like the same way that the Cypress Bridge was laid. And it was just rows. It was like a line of, not rows, but it was like a line of military vehicles. And on the back of the military vehicles, they had things that looked like spaceships. It was just lights all around them. And it was like so many of them. It was so many trucks with these vehicles, or these not vehicles, but these objects with lights all around it on each one of the trucks. Each one of the trucks had looked like alien spacecraft, and or some weird type of spacecraft. I later determined that it was fake alien spacecraft, and they had lights all around them, lined up. Okay, moving on to the next one. This dream was like, this next dream, it was like I was older and I was taking care of this elderly couple in West Oakland. Don't know what that has to do with it, but it's in West Oakland. And I remember a military knock on the door. I didn't know it was military until I opened the door. When I opened the door, it was one of our military officers. And he told me to come out. And I told him, I said, I can't. I'm, taking care of these people. I can't leave them. And he was like, come out. Like now, like your life depends on it, come out. So I looked like the way he said it was like, you have to come with me. You don't have an option. So I walk out onto the porch. And I looked behind me, and it was immediate. It was, I had to go now, the way he said it and he ordered it. So I'm walking down the stairs, and I look to my left. I'm just not noticing everything is to the left. I don't know what that means, but it was to the left. I looked to the left, and it was all kinds of people, different races, walking up the middle of the street towards, I guess it would be the military base, because there's an old military base. I don't know if they still use it, but they were walking towards that direction. And it was 10th, 11th, I think it was like 12th Street. And they were just walking up the middle of the street with whatever they had in their hands. Families, individual people, just walking up towards the military base. What that means, I don't know. The next dream. Okay. Okay, so I told you guys about, let me see, there's a dream. That one when they were walking. There's another dream. Trying to remember which one I haven't told you guys. Okay, this one, I remember. Okay, and then this one, before I even seen that movie, I don't know, like, if it was like, I don't know what that was. If there's a correlation but I'm just going to say what the dream was. So this dream was, I was just outside. And in the day when it gets where it could be the sun coming up or the sun going down, if you didn't know. So it was kind of like that outside. So I went in the house. But I remember in that moment, the dream was telling me you don't know what time of day it is. You don't know if it's day or if it's night. So I go in the house. No, actually, I didn't go in the house yet. I was caught in between that part of it. It was like, is this the morning where the sun rises, or is the sun setting? So the next thing I know, I look up. And the whole sky is covered with soldiers falling out the sky with AR-15s or some type of rifle, some type of automatic weapon gun in their hand. And they're everywhere. There's not a place in the sky that you don't see them falling from the sky. And as soon as the guy hit the ground, he looks at me. And I couldn't tell, but he looked Asian. I can't tell you if he was Chinese. I can't tell you if he was Cambodian. I can't tell you if he was Japanese. But he was of Asian descent. And he looked right at me and he said, "Go in the house now." Clear English, clear as day. He tells me to go in the house. So he turns back to another soldier who hit the ground, and he spoke his language. And I don't know what language they were speaking, but he spoke that language, but he spoke perfect English. And I remember when I went in the house, because I went and took my butt in the house, as he told them, commanded me to. It's getting extra dark. Just a second. So when I went in the house, I remember, it's getting dark in here, guys. Sorry. Can you see me? Okay. And when I went in the house, I remember I peeked through the blinds because I was like, this can't be real. And I remember that gun as if it was pointed towards me, and I felt real terror. Like, I really felt afraid. I was just like, any second that gun could go off and I'll be dead. Like that. The other dream that I had, that God sent me, was me. And before I say this dream, I just want to say that I believe in our Father Yeshua, Jesus. I don't know what name you call him by, but there's a creator that is great, that is in my heart, that I don't want to be without. And I surely don't want to be without this creator that has been protecting me. We're going to go through things, and sometimes we think that we're not protected and loved by God because we go through so much here. And that's how come it's important for us to be in the Word. The Word, it basically gives us protection. But moving on, because I'm not trying to be religious, but I am going to say, if you don't know him, you better get to know him. Oh, that was something that if you guys could have heard, you could hear that. That was the helicopter in the sky said they're looking for a missing person. I'm here in Sacramento, California. Okay, the next dream that I had was so real. It was insane to me. It was not insane, but it was just mind-blowing. You see how we go about every day living our lives, making decisions, telling ourselves what's really important in the moment. Oh, I got to pay my car note. I got to pay my rent. I got to go to court. I have to go to the hospital. I need medicine. I got to take care of these kids. All the things that we think are extremely important here on this planet. But in this dream, which was very terrifying, it was clear as day to me. What happens to us when we don't have God in our life? When we don't have the Father Yeshua in our life, what happens? In this dream, it was, okay, in this dream, it was as if I had lived on the earth and now I had crossed over. And in this nightmare, it was as if I didn't have a body. And it was like I was laying at the bottom of a pit with no body. It was almost as if I just had a head and my head was laid at the bottom of this pit, flat on a floor where I could not feel anything. I couldn't see anything, couldn't feel anything other than complete and utter evil all around. It seemed like I had maybe eyes that could not see, and I could not feel because I didn't have a body. But I knew that evil was all around. It seemed like if I had a head, it was like evil all around, just moving. And it was almost as if I had a head, it was only one way. It wasn't as if it was roaming, like if I could move and roll my head this way or that way and look up or down. It was almost as if I had a head, it was just flat on the floor, detached from a body. And I remember, like, it was just evil. And it was, you don't have a body, so you can't get out. You can't scream for help. And the worst thing, God can't come there. You missed your opportunity and your chance. If you don't have a relationship with God, you go into this pit with evil, with every other spirit that lusted on the earth, every other spirit that did demonic things on the earth, every other evil, demonic spirit that thought they were smarter, clever, and manipulative and deceptive and just doing all types of evil things, not making or trying to have a relationship with God. And the first thing in that pit that I realized was that God's not here. And what? There is a God. And you failed to make a relationship with God. And now you're here in this bottomless pit of evil with every other evil energy that roamed or was on the face of the earth that did not have a relationship with God. You immediately know that you messed up. You messed up. And you messed up big. Because now you're in the pit of hell. And God cannot, try to get over you guys looking more like, He cannot and will not come into that pit to save you. There is no more you trying to have a relationship. There is no more time. You've run out of time. Everything is over. It's a wrap. You're in the bottomless pit of hell. And there's no fire and brimstone. There's complete, utter darkness. There's no body. You don't have a body. You don't have a body. You're in the pit of hell with every other evil energy, and y'all not dancing around on fire and whoremongering around and having endless weird intercourse of sex, because I've seen pictures like that where they try to glamorize hell. Hell is a place where God, where you know that you don't have a relationship with God, and you cannot form one from there. You instantly know there's a God. If you're running around and you're an atheist and you're like, there is no God, you get caught in that pit, you know there's a God immediately. Because only God was in you. He's in us now. But if you go to hell, he's not going to be with you in that pit. Now, I said what I said because God told me to say it, and I've said it. And I don't care what anybody does with the information. But the purpose is that it's not fair for me not to share what God has put upon me to hold. And now, after over 15 years, it could be 20 years, definitely before I got here in Sacramento, California, that God gave me all these dreams, and I've been holding on to them all this time. And I can see now things, the collapse of the middle class. That's what the one dream I thought. I said that was the collapse of the middle class when those white people were under those trees. And those men in black basically came out and annihilated them. Makes perfect sense to me now. The ocean is warming. Fracking still occurs. The oil that we all use is the blood of the earth. It's not fossil fuel. And it cannot be replaced. And the earth does not just regenerate this. It does not just create it again immediately. It takes billions of years for the earth to reproduce the oil that we destroy, if it even does it. It could be gone and never come back. What do these greedy men know? There's a promise that the earth will not be destroyed by water. But there's going to be signs upon the earth that there will be places destroyed by water. But the next one will be fire. There's going to be total chaos on this planet. There's going to be lawlessness. Because right now, over 10 years, the United States have been sold off and abandoned. Just look at the infrastructure around you. Just look around you. When Walmart came, the mom and pop shops, that's the middle class getting shut down. I had these dreams way before then, before Walmart. Just wanted to, God told me to tell it, and I've spoken. And I've carried these dreams for over a decade. And now you know. So we can no longer say, oh, I didn't know. I had no idea. You know. And if you don't know, you better find out. You better have a relationship with God. And you need to be working on a relationship with God. We don't have to be perfect. He didn't say we have to be perfect. He didn't say that the only way in is that you have to be without sin. We all have sin. I'm sure I've committed every violation towards the commandments. I'm nowhere near perfect. And you don't have to be perfect to have a relationship with God. But if you don't, you need to start thinking about that and start on that immediately. You don't want to get caught in that bottomless pit by yourself without a body, especially without God. That was like the most immediate thing in that pit was God's not here. You don't even care about it not having a body. The only thing you're going to think immediately in that pit is, I have a relationship with God and work on I didn't. Immediately. That was so immediate. That was so immediate. It was insane. That was crazy. Immediately it said, you're here without God. So even if you're an atheist, I don't care who you are, that pit of hell was real. You're there without God if you go to the bottom, if you go to that pit. I feel so much better. I got that off my chest. I've spoken. I've told the world, God. And I don't know how far this is going to go. But if you're asleep, wake up. Because these are more than trying times now. At this point, the wicked, we're under attack. The wicked they're everywhere. We are under attack. The wicked. Those that don't want us to have freedom. Those that want to kill us. They want to kill God's people. They don't want God's people to rise. They don't want you to see the promise. They don't want us to have the promise. They don't want us to have and collect what is ours. Because we've been lied to. Everyone has been lied to. And every race has been lied to. And propaganda is everywhere. You have to keep your eyes wide open. The devil will try to deceive you. That's in the Bible. Keep your eyes open. You can't trust man. Man will let you down. You can put your faith and trust in God. And you have to pray for discernment. So, I've spoken. If this video is dark, I apologize. I just did this on a whim. Just was like, I need to do this. And it's done. And I'm going to upload this video. I don't need to tell y'all that, because if you see this video, evidently I uploaded the video. Okay? And this is just for you to think about your day-to-day. Think about your day-to-day and what's important. And to all, I give my praise, my love to Yeshua. Thank you, Father, for all praise. Bless you all. And talk to you soon. Hopefully. Talk to you soon.